What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one. And I just watched a movie called Dormouse, starring Haley Law. I don't know where she came from. I never heard of this person. Keith Powers and FAMKE JANSSEN. First of all, I'm about to pay homage to a specific actress I've been kind of mentioning in a lot of my other old reviews and some recent, very recent. All right. Let's just say if you think that Aubrey Plaza is the live action Daria, then this has to be the blueprint to all that. I'm talking about JANEANE Garofalo. Yes, she is the original Daria. I don't care. I remember her. This is for you little kids that don't know who I'm talking about. I remember her being on a lot of skit shows, a lot of skit comedy. Larry Sanders Show, the Bob and David Show, Ben Stiller Show. Anything with show at the end, she was in it. Okay, that was some complete 90s stuff right there. All right. It basically goes like this. Any role she's played, you could just replace her with Daria and it would still work. It would still work. Regardless. All right. 1996, The Truth About Cats and Dogs came out. It's a rom-com or whatever like that. So it wasn't that great. I'm not that big fan of a lot of rom-coms like that unless it's really good. But despite all the mushy stuff going on around it, she stayed true to herself. She was still the sarcastic, dry, humored person she's always been, and I love her for that. All right, she's just good. She's good at what she does. Okay, honestly. All right. Then, in that same year, Cable Guy came out. Now, despite everybody saying this was Jim Carrey's worst movie, I disagree with that completely. But this is not about Jim Carrey right now. We're talking about JANEANE Garofalo, all right? She had one scene, and that one scene stood out so strong, all right? She was the barkeep at the medieval times Renaissance festival entertainment thing going on, all right? Where they did some jousting. And her service to Jim Carrey and Matthew Broderick was so blunt, so to the point. It was so like, I just don't want to be here. All right, like she just didn't want to work there at all, despite the benefits or whatever she's getting paid. She didn't want to be there. All right, and you could tell, and her reaction, her response to everything they said was just, could you please just leave me alone? Just take your order and leave me alone. I enjoyed it. If you haven't seen that movie, just watch it for that part if you want to. All right, you'll see what I'm talking about. Then in 1997, Rory and Michelle's high school reunion came out. All right, now, I'm not even going to lie. I barely remember a lot of what happened in this movie. It was a little funny, all right? You know, Phoebe from Friends is in there and all that and blah, blah, blah. But this is about JANEANE Garofalo once again. And once again, she had a miniature role. A little bigger than the Cable Guy one, but she was the girl who smoked under the bleachers. She was the girl who took smoke breaks all the time in high school. She's still taking smoke breaks at the reunion. All right. And once again, you could just take Daria and put it in this role and it would be the same kind of feel. Okay. She gave that performance once again. She was the bringer of truth to this entire movie because everybody else was just like a bunch of airheads and just ridiculous people. She was the only realistic person in the movie. I like that about her. I like that. Because then in 1998, Clay Pigeons came out. I'm not gonna lie. I never really had a chance to just actually watch this movie through its entirety. I've seen the previews so many times and just Vince Vaughn's character alone caught my attention because he was supposed to be very charismatic throughout the movie, but it was something evil and sinister about him. You know, you have Joaquin Phoenix in there, a young Joaquin Phoenix in there as well. Okay, and so I don't know how many people do not know about this movie, but it seems good. From what I saw, the little bit I saw, it seems so good. All right, and then JANEANE Garofalo is the investigator to the case of missing girls that is going on and whatnot, and I know she brings it. I could just tell she brings it from the trailer. I don't even have to watch the movie yet, and I know. And because she's more of a main character in this role, it's already a plus for me. All right, but I have to watch that movie. I have to actually watch it and pay attention. 1999, Mystery Men came out. Now, I absolutely watched this movie. Seen it twice, at least. All right, you got a great cast. You got Kel Mitchell in here. All right, you got Ben Stiller. You got a lot of different people in here that you probably don't even remember. And of course, JANEANE Garofalo is along with them. All right, and it's a little from the norm of what she plays. All right, she's a little more upbeat, but not too much. Okay, she's a bowling girl. She has a bowling ball that she throws around all the time, and it's a little goofy, but it was her trying to, step out of her comfort zone for a little bit. All right, just a little bit. It still worked. It still worked for that movie. If you have not seen that movie, please go watch that. Please watch that. Because then in 1999 or 2001, Wet Hot American Summer came out. Now, this was one of my favorite comedies in the 2000s were coming around, all right? 2000s were still trying to make you laugh. It's not like now where everything is so dry and pointless and the comedy is dying. Comedy was still going. It was still avid. It was still running. And JANEANE Garofalo did her damn thing in this movie. I respect that. For a movie that has that kind of that dry wit to it. All right? Kind of like a big parody of summer camp in the 80s, pretty much. And that's what they were giving it with this movie. And her just being added to the cast, perfection. One of the last good movies I've seen her in. After that, she just was in random stuff that I had no interest in watching. All right? And now my question is, will she ever be anything else again that is worth watching? We shall see in the future. We shall see in the near future. But let's get to that review. Dormouse. For those who don't know, for those who are not aware, if you never heard of Dormouse, I can't blame you. I say 95% of people have not heard of Dormouse, all right? They've never seen this movie, never seen the trailers at all. You have to really be looking for it. You have to really be looking for this, all right? Kind of like trying to look for a dormouse, basically. You don't know, so I'm going to let you slide this time, all right? Dormouse. It's pretty much about this burlesque dancer named Dormouse, who has a friend named Ugly. And she works at this burlesque club. All right? And all of a sudden, the girls that work there start disappearing one by one. And she has to find out what's going on. And she's investigating this. All at the same time, she's working on a comic book. Yeah, she's working on a comic book. And ironically, not really ironically, but she's also doing the same thing in the comic book that's happening in real life. All right. And that's the premise of the movie. I'm serious. I couldn't explain that any better than what I just did. Positives. What I could say about this film, I enjoyed the blend of comic book versus live action. All right. Not a lot of movies get this right. I at the same time, I commend this movie for at least trying a new idea with the way that they presented this. Okay. You had Kill Bill do this. You've had other movies come in and just like the first Hulk movie, well, the first modern Hulk movie. All right, it was like that. They tried, didn't do that great. At least they put a little bit of a twist, their own twist to it this time. I'll give them that. I'll give the movie that much. All right, but we'll talk about that a little later on. Second positive, the grunge score. The music in this movie was fantastic. I loved every song they played. Literally every song they played. It made me think sometimes that I was watching a 90s movie. I'm not even gonna lie. I like the feeling of that. Whoever chose the score, whoever chose the music for this, kudos to you. Kudos to you. You have great taste. Okay? You have great taste. Can't say that much about what else is going to happen in this movie, but at least the score was immaculate. All right, it took me back. I'm thinking of more on a Nirvana level, maybe a little more grunge than that. Okay, there's a lot of groups I can name right now, and they'll be in the screen that that it reminded me of immediately hearing the music. Good job on that. Good job with the music, man. I have to say it repeatedly. Okay? Good job with that score. Last positive. I mean the last positive. There's I'd say a villain at the end by the name of the Dame, who had one of the best quotes in this movie. And I'm just paraphrasing this. But it was somewhere along the lines of, no one is good or just evil. All right. Everyone is like an in between. Everybody is not balanced, but we have good and we have bad. No one is just one thing. You know, everyone is this until something happens, and then you soon see the real them. Or sometimes it takes time. She was trying to compare herself to the main character, saying that she used to be like her, but now she's a different person. She's seen over the lifetime that life it's not what it's chopped up to be. All right, and sometimes it turns you into a horrible person, and that was probably the deepest thing in this film. All right, I'm honestly not even gonna lie to you. It was probably the deepest quote or line at all within this entire movie. All right. So let's get to those negatives. Whew. It's going to be a long night. Negative number 1. This had one of the worst dialogues in film history. Okay? I don't know who wrote the script to this movie, but some of the most basic stuff, the basic lines were being written. That's why I say the Dame as a character had the best line. Easily. Because everybody else was just saying things that are so typical and cliche for movies like this throughout the entire movie. And everybody was speaking so slow. So slowly. It was not neat. That was completely unnecessary to even talk that slow. It was so irritating, and they dragged it, and I'll get into that later on too. But it's just when you write a movie and a script, you have to kind of practice the script in front of an audience first and see how they react. If they're falling asleep, if people are dozing off, you might not want to do that. You might want to rewrite. You might want to do some rewrites. All right, I'm just saying. Another negative. nothing happened almost until the end. Okay, so what I'm saying is, throughout the majority of the movie, it was just dialogue. It was just dialogue. Maybe here and there you'd see some clips of action, but that was mostly in comic book, universe. Okay, and I'll get into that later on. But other than that, no, it was just talking. It was just talking the entire time. It's so irritating to do stuff like that. Now, you shouldn't. It's okay. Okay, it's okay to for some movies, because only some movies can get away with that, depending on who the writer and who the director is. But in this case, if it's your first time making a movie, don't do that. Don't do that. And there are no predominant actors in here. All right, I'm talking about professional. So you're really making a big mistake doing that. It went on and on. It got irritating. It got so irritating until the end, when things just started to pick up a little bit. Thank goodness. But it was agony. It was complete agony waiting for that. I'm sorry. Honestly. Next negative. The little action you did get, it was minuscule. It was weak. The action we did get is so weak in this movie. Even when they went to the comic verse and everything was in comic book style, I've seen the one clip from Kill Bill 10 times better than this entire movie. All the animation in this entire movie, period. Just that one scene from Kill Bill knocked that out of the water. All right? You have to pull me in. When you do something creative like this, back it up with a little bit of entertainment. Entertain me. We see that you're trying to be different, but you still have to entertain the audience. Okay? What you're doing with the animation is nothing new. As far as the action, all right? You could have just kept that as live action. If you're just going to do that, that's all you did. That's all you did. You just took ideas from different movies and you animated it. That's what you did. I mean, honestly, that's what you did. That's all you did. It's nothing special. All right? At all. The action could have been upped to a higher level than that. Honestly. Last negative. Surprisingly, the lead actors were the worst actors in the entire movie. Not only was the dialogue trash, which was a hinder to the actors who kind of could act. All right, the two main actors in the movie, actress and actor, Ugly and Dormouse, who you're gonna see most of the time, they were just so pitiful. Very pitiful actors. Even if they were in different movies, I couldn't see much of a difference. All right? I guarantee you it's not going to be a big difference between how they performed in this movie and how they perform in another movie. Okay? And I just hate to be like that, but it was obvious. That's why I'm giving this movie an eh. Yes, it's getting an eh. And I don't feel bad or guilty about giving it that. All right? Maybe the next movie you direct, you can just kind of take some notes and think it through before you do it. All right? Press that like button, share this, and you better subscribe.